Sheesh. Uh, this is off the dome. It's off the dome. First time really finishing this hoe. Yeah, I just finished Pokemon Violet version, not Scarlet Violet. And I gotta say, I bought the game. Oh my gosh, I just hit the fucking mic. Point is, I know I'm kind of late. It's like February. Uh, the game came out in the middle of November. I didn't really buy it until the start of December, like right before the patch that people were saying was coming out, whatever. I bought it, and then like the next day I had to work. Woke up, there was a patch, and so when I was finally off, I had time to play. I pick it up, bring it around with me, whatever, and it's pretty good, right? Everyone I talk to, and I don't talk to that many people because there's not many people to talk to about Pokemon in my life these days. I wish I had more Pokemon friends, at least IRL. Everyone I spoke to that had the game on PSN, right? Because which doesn't have any native voice chat, whatever. They all said you gotta play the game. The internet has really made it look like a total shit show, the worst thing that ever happened. And the reality of the situation is, it looks really bad and it's ugly. Like it's not cute. It's not pretty. Uh, there's some glitches here and there, and I'm gonna be real. I've seen videos before my playthrough of the game crashing or people falling through spaces and going into like just out of bounds areas. After that patch, which is when I started playing, I didn't experience any of that. Before that, I didn't even get to see any of that. There's like some weird light flickering here and there, like in I want to say the city where the electric gym is. I don't know if that's a spoiler to say that there is an electric gym, but now you know there's an electric gym. If you walk, at least on my copy, if you walk by the gym, and it isn't just there, it's like a lot of different gym buildings. Where if you stand in the right spot, the sunlight will start to flicker and it'll throw the whole shit off. That's probably the only really weird glitch I saw. Oh, just yesterday I tried to jump over over a hill, whatever, and I got stuck like kind of floating. Besides that, it's all like I've ever seen. Like everything else is pretty smooth. The frame rate drops a lot in the open world. And really, that's the only big gripe. Like the open world itself, the bitch opened this time for real. I guess you could say that. Like the bitch is really opened up and you're not in just one little tucked off area like in Sword and Shield. That was a huge letdown. It's 100% open world. There's no loading screens in between. But a lot of Pokemon, a lot of shit on screen becomes a mess to kind of look at sometimes. But when you battle, everything is smooth as fuck for the most part. Pretty smooth, especially when your battles aren't taking place in the open world. It looks beautiful, like mad pretty old time. Uh, I don't see any weird frame rate drops or nothing that. It's really pretty. I think when the only thing here is it's like damn if they had more time. I'm assuming because I don't make Pokemon games, and they didn't have to match an anime. We'd probably see a more fleshed out open world here, or a prettier open world, right? Because now that we've gone like this full 3D boundary that everybody's wanted to, we now have towns and cities that actually look like towns and cities, but they don't really get to feel like them, right? before, like you could walk in a building in, let's say, Gen, I guess 7 and 6 and 8 technically, but 8 barely had any content in these buildings to begin with. But like from 1 to fucking 7, or I'll say 6, because I didn't really get to play 7. My 3DS was stolen by then. When you walk into a building, there would be people in the building that you could talk to, and they would give you all types of responses or explanation about the lore or different features that are in this version of the game that wasn't in the last one. You might trade a nigga for a Pokemon. Uh, you might get to engage in a couple battles here and there. None of that is here. There are these buildings, they look cool. There are these towns that look really cool. And you can't walk in these buildings. And you can't really start conversations with most of these people. Now it's like you walk by them and there's like a vocal bubble. And they all kind of just stand in the same spot all the time. They're not moving or anything like that. And so it's like you were there. Uh, it, Pokemon can't be Grand Theft Auto, but it'd be nice if they like walked around and didn't stand in the same place. Because now it's like you look at them and you keep coming back and you're like, okay, these guys just stand here 24/7. Like, is that their job to just kind of stand here? And it breaks the immersion of the game. It's still a Pokemon game, and in 2D, niggas was just standing in the same space all the time. But now it's like I can't even really approach you, press the A button, and get some type of response. The only thing that responds really are Pokemon that are standing there, and you just get their cry in text. So like a Pikachu, if a Pikachu was standing next to somebody, it would just say Pika in the text box, and that would be that. So I'm guessing like if there wasn't an anime, maybe we get more stuff here. But the problem that bugs me about this is that we know there has to be a Scarlet and Violet anime coming, and there's great speak. There's no voice acting in this game at all, and I think it really rubbed me the wrong way the last gen, and so I've been begging mentally, I guess, because I can't. I have no one to talk to these about these. It's not like I can call fucking Game Freak and say, "Hey, man, we need voices. We need voices." But this is a game that definitely needed voices. And it's kind of like, to me, if there's gonna be an anime, there's gonna be voices anyway. Why doesn't this have voices? Right? And so this game, this Pokemon game has fulfilled one of our biggest gripes we've had, or most people have had, and me personally, with the last couple Pokemon games. Where, or would not even say couple, because again, allegedly, I didn't get to play 7, but allegedly 7 was cool from what I've heard. I got to play that one. It was cool with cool characters, right? This game has a plethora of cool characters and cool storylines that on text, on paper, in these text boxes, kind of come through the screen really well. But it's like, fuck, nigga, if I could hear you talk, this would be the greatest Pokemon game ever. If I could just hear some of these characters talk, like it's literally right there. All this energy, all this effort into storytelling and these little jokes here and there. And when they speak, it's just nothing but silence. And it's like, how did we not get a voice? Like, how did we not get a voice? What the fuck is going on? If there was a voice, this would make sense. And even like it's it's like way more emphasized now because these characters are really cool. but like you can't hear them. And it's like that first 3D. I'm not even gonna call it. I guess you could say a 3D seed. The first seed, and you start up Pokemon Sword. I think. And this might not even be in the beginning. I haven't touched Sword in weeks, but it's a seed where the motherfucking damn, I forgot that nigga name. Again, this is off the dome. I'm so sorry. Where the dude who's like the chairman of the Pokemon League comes out and makes this huge announcement in front of the stadium that the battle's about to begin or some shit like that. And it's just crickets. Like, just think of that. Think of that times like a billion here. Like it should have been there. But besides that one gripe, and I feel like that's a really big gripe for me here. I think we're ready to make that jump to talking. And yeah, probably talking. Besides not talking and these characters help make probably the coolest Pokemon story ever. I gotta say. Uh not mm, I'll say this. But I don't want to spoil it. Like if you're watching this, you probably haven't played, but there's this whole you get three different paths besides like just getting your gym badges. And it's pretty cool. Like pretty cool, I say. And so there's so much to do. You just kind of go out and do these things. And at first, I was like just getting the badges, and then I thought about it. Like I haven't really caught that many Pokemon. There's some other shit I know I'm supposed to do, but I haven't gone that direction. But I'm gonna try out these other things and put some of the bad shit on hold. And I think I did that because when I went to start the game, it being an open world and you kind of start in the center of the fucking map, they tell you can go any direction, right? When you leave the center after you've gotten your Pokemon and stuff or gotten acquainted to the academy that you join. But what they don't tell you is that some of these trainers that you're going to run into are extremely way higher level than you. And so when I walk out, I wouldn't say, I didn't even go spoil the side. I walk out one side and I'm chilling, I'm grinding my starter Pokemon or whatever the fuck. And I see a dude just sitting there waiting for a battle. Speaking of which, battles aren't mandatory necessarily. And I feel kind of weird about that. Like the starter battle, you approach and just kind of, I guess, you're supposed to be asking for a battle, or you start a conversation with somebody who looks like they want a battle. And so I go start a conversation with a dude who's just kind of standing in the middle of the fucking route or trail, if these are even routes anymore. I don't know what the fuck to call them. And he sends out like some level 60 ass Pokemon. It's like, what the fuck? How am I supposed to be prepared for this? And I get my ass whooped. Like, really get my ass whooped. And I'm just like, what the fuck? And so, there's random high level dudes laying around the layout with your lower level dudes. Whatever. Point is, I realized I went to the wrong side after trying to get like 2 gym badges and getting whooped by these level 67 dudes. And I went to the other side and realized, oh, this is where all the low level Pokemon are this whole time. And so when I got to that side, I had grinded and was already kind of extremely over leveled. That whole side of the map, or that region of the map. And I kind of wish there was like a scaling way to do this. I don't know. I don't program games. Point is, if there was a way where everything went up based on you, it'd make it kind of smooth. Then again, when you get those lower level Pokemon that you want to train and raise up after you raised up your first 6 or 10 crazy powerful team, where do you go to train them? So I get it, I guess. But other than that, like you can really go anywhere. I was really You got to be patient a little bit with the game because again, I'm playing only the gym badge challenge, a gym badge portion of the game at the start, and thought about it like, man, this shit boring as fuck, or not necessarily boring. Like this shit weak as fuck. Legends Arceus did the traversal thing way better. I mean, way, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm gonna have to pause OBS. Trying to get back. Trying to get back to you. 2 minutes, 5 seconds. 2 minutes, 5 seconds. 2 hours, 5 seconds, 5 minutes. I'm tweaking. Point is, when I first started the game, what was I saying? When I first started the game, after getting like 2 or 3 badges, I was really disappointed with traveling. Right, I'm riding. I don't really walk that much or run that much. You get a ride Pokemon essentially, and you get to ride this Pokemon. Your legendary is your ride Pokemon, basically. Like I'm saying this like the trailer didn't it already spoil that. And you get to ride that thing from like the very beginning, and that's really how you're getting around throughout most of the game. But I'm like this shit slowed in a hoe, bro. I can't even lie, this shit feels slowed in a hoe. Nigga, Legends Arceus had me on some faster shit, had me climbing walls, had me gliding all over the place, had me doing all types of cool shit. Climbing, gliding, I think searching for like I think it was like a Doppler or metal detector thing going on with the Ursaring evolution. I was like, man, this really some weak ass shit, bro. Like how we get worse. Point is, if you stick it out and play the whole game and don't just play the gym challenge, you get those options, which made me feel way better about the game. Uh, yeah, and then I went into this trying to avoid as many spoilers as possible. So I just wanted one like mean fresh impression, right? And so essentially, like the beast or whatever in Legends Arceus that you fought that were kind of like boss battles, that's kind of back. Those are back, and that's great too. And I really like that thing, and I hope that becomes a staple where we get these Pokemon that are different or special that we get to battle here and there, but you don't get to catch them, and that's kind of like I kind of want to catch you. You're not a legendary, but you're kind of there. Like I kind of thought you were. You kind of get supposed to be the special thing, and you can't catch those versions of Pokemon. But it's still a cool fix, and you still get to squeeze in double battles, sort of kind of double battles in the mix. Cause it's like which is cool with me because I feel like the format is kind of just going straight to competitive, and you don't really play the game and experience those like that. So it's neat. But other than that, let me see. What can I say? I'm just giving my thoughts. My thoughts. If I want to go all in, right? Every Pokemon game gets a team, and I say this team is unique. This team is really unique. Man, everything threw me for a loop about the team. I did not see any of this shit coming. Like, at all. I actually like the team. The team is way better than Team fucking Yell. Oh my god. Team Yell was shit. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. Team Yell was poo. And I think the big thing that bugged me about Team Yell is that Team Yell had a city that they talked about throughout all of Sword and Shield. And you get to this city, and there's barely shit to do with them. Like, at all. And it's literally like a corridor. It's not even a town. Like, you can't walk into anywhere. You just battle the gym leader. Right. And all they did was just kind of cheer Marnie. Marnie's there, but Marnie's like, Marnie's just there to me. Like, I don't have any significant Marnie memories. These Team Star, who I thought was gonna be corny as hell, is like this group of kids that were, I guess you could say, bullied, right? And they went and branched off and started this crazy big organization, and they're waiting for their leader to come back to the school because their leader started Team Star but disappeared into the vast, great beyond some shit, and they're just holding it down, being a killer team of badass trainers. And I guess to stop bullying, if that's the best way to put it, that or to combat the bullying that was going on at the school or at the academy. Right. One, how can I put it? One, they don't have their own town or their own little headquarters. They're kids. They have their own bases branched off across the region. It's the coolest shit. And then when you go into the bases, you don't battle like fucking regular battles, right? Where you just turn based all the time. Nigga, you do these little, I guess, quick time, quick runaway battles, right? There's this feature called Let's Go, where you just kind of send your Pokemon out and they'll follow you around the overworld. And it can just start a quick match and it'll beat up a Pokemon without doing the turn based thing. And so usually the best way to win those is just by having a type advantage. If you don't have a type advantage, and if your level is lower than that other thing, you're more than likely gonna get your ass kicked. Right? And so you gotta run through like 30 different Pokemon with this method. And then you get to battle the head guy at the fucking base. And usually these head guy battles feature these cars, which I wish I could get the car. Like, I wish there were more vehicles in this game. You only get the fucking legendary Pokemon. In this case, it would be Miraidon. And you get to ride on Miraidon, right? But there are fucking Silizars, which look like Miraidon, but they don't evolve. And you can't ride any of them. So it's like either you buy which game and either you get a blue bike or a red bike, and that's just what it is. Yeah. I think that's a huge letdown. I really wanted to ride a Salazar just for the novelty of seeing a green bike. I'll keep it 100 with you. Point is, These battles are, for the most part, pretty interesting. They're always a little challenging. I think, what can I say? I want to say the poison type. I think it was a poison type, or whatever. It was one of the most dark poison something. The fighting one gave me the hardest time. There was another one before that one, like the very first one I did. Got my ass whooped. I would like the fighting one was the last one I did. And before that, there was a guy that was a DJ. That's the first one I did. That one gave me a hard time. But either way, entertaining. And this new Pokemon is like an engine or something. You gotta fight. I really like this thing. And each team star member has one with like a different type or ability thing going on. It's fucking sick. It's fucking sick. And I'm so glad I didn't watch no trailer or nothing that spoiled that for me. A lot. I'm really glad that didn't can't spoil any of this. Or you probably can. I think it might be somewhere, but I try my best to avoid any spoilers. But like you're fighting this engine Pokemon, right? And I would just remember this aha moment, like holy shit, they're really going hard with the Pokemon designs in this one. You're fighting the engine, and you beat the engine while the engine is standing on top of a car, right? And then after you've knocked out this engine Pokemon, you're fighting the fucking car. The car is a fucking Pokemon. Holy shit. Like, I was like, what the fuck? The car is a Pokemon. And just speaking of Pokemon, man, I'm really liking this new set. Uh, for the love of God, I'm so glad Charizard was in no promotional material. I was so happy, like no Charizard, but apparently he did come back in a raid. So like Charizard's fucking here. But in the beginning, you got basically you got to earn Charizard if you wanted one. But there was no Gen 1 extra bullshit. My favorite Pokemon this year, Dragonite. Uh Dunsparce is here and it gets an evolution. Primate is here and it gets an evolution that kind of looks like fucking I guess Akuma. Some shit. It's a it looks like a mess. At first I was like, what the fuck? Who thought that was okay? But now I'm like, you know what? That nigga kind of cool, bro. I fuck with Primate's evolution. Uh, we have a superhero fish. I mean dolphin. A superhero dolphins here. There's a it's like a giant whale catfish thing that gets possessed by like another catfish thing. So if you put it in a double battle, there's this animation where the thing just hops in the body of the fucking giant catfish thing. It is fucking sick. Oh my gosh. It's a it's a nice 400 Pokemon roster. Uh Nothing too crazy. And there are Pokemon from like the the center of the earth or some shit. Fucking sick. Like fucking sick. And those vary depending on which version you get. Right. And speaking of which, speaking of virgins, right? I played Violet, and I think the coolest thing here is just themes and topics. There's a lot of mentioning of they mentioned death here, like bullying, death, backstories, being an attentive parent, you know, all types of shit here. And I think that's it's probably the coolest thing. I never sat here and really played a Pokemon game and felt emotions, like real emotions. when playing through the story mode. I think post story so far is not much to do. Uh, there's a tournament. You get a tournament, right? And the reward for the tournament are fuck, I completely skipped terrestrialization. The reward for the tournament are these dens where you can terrestrialize Pokemon, but they're the highest difficulty dens where you're fighting terrestrialized Pokemon. That's the point. You're trying to capture terrestrialized Pokemon. Same way the Dynamax dens existed. Now for terrestrialization. Terrestrialization is cool, I think, with humans. I think in human battle, like instead of AI, it's pretty cool. But now it's like before you really start playing online, like you might want to grind and get some level 50 Pokemon. You're gonna be facing CPUs with terrestrialization. Like your gym leaders are gonna terrestrialize, and at first it's really exciting. Like when you see what Pokemon they send out, because you're battling, it's like, nigga, I'm at the bug type gym. This nigga just sent out a Teddy Ursa. What the fuck? Teddy Ursa ain't no fucking bug type. But like the first turn, they terrestrialize, and it's like, so I didn't. I just thought about like switching up my typing for my Pokemon and getting the advantage because I already came with this advantage in mind, and now you just gave me the advantage at the very beginning. Like you, if you would have waited like a regular person to terrestrialize at the right time, it might have been challenging. That's probably my only gripe. But like in multiplayer, pretty pretty huge wrinkle. It kind of adds to these fights, and sometimes I get in the habit like I'm so used to Dynamax, I'll terrestrialize with the expectation I'll get an HP boost, but you don't do that. That doesn't happen. It just really boosts the power of certain type moves and changes your typing, right? And I think what's really cool about terrestrialization is that you can terrestrialize and switch out your Pokemon, and if it didn't get knocked out of terrestrialization, when it comes back in, it's still gonna be terrestrialized. It's not like you stuck that way on it. Speaking right, but other than that, pretty cool. All right, what was I talking? I was talking terrestrialization and terrestrialization dens. You get 6 and 7 star dens after beating. If you win the tournament in the post game ish thing, right? And you win that tournament, you get access to these dens. I can't find these dens to save my life. I've been trying, cannot find any of them. If somebody want to help me find the 6 and 7 star den, please let me know. But I cannot find the shit, and I'm really upset. I think there's also access to an item in these dens that gives you the ability to get your hidden ability. And I think that's really neat versus some weird peripheral or having to transfer to like some computer world to get over some shit. It's pretty lit. Before, uh, only certain den raids in Gen 8 had the hidden ability Pokemon, and that was like kind of frustrating, but kind of cool, like convenient. I really want the G Max Corviknight with Mirror Armor. I want to get that. I just gotta play the den game the right way. And then sometimes you get in these dens, and if you don't have any real human friends, your teammates are ass. And boy, in Gen 8, teammates were ass. Gen 9, teammates are still ass. Oh my god. I'd be so pissed trying to do these raids with CPU teammates. Like, I just, how you go, nigga? Oh my god. How you go into How you going to what's a good example? Nigga, niggas just come into a ghost type den with a fighting type Pokemon. How the fuck does that make sense? And they don't know nothing but fighting type moves. It's a fighting type. It's a ghost type den, and you brought a fighting type Pokemon. How the? Oh my god, I'd be so mad, bro. I'd be mad as hell. But I still keep playing the shit. But the glory about the dens is version exclusives. You can kind of get. You can find a way to get them without having to trade. So it's cool or whatever. I just wish my teammates weren't stupid, so I could hit the Pokemon and do enough damage to catch the motherfucker. Or like sometimes my Pokemon get knocked out, and while I'm knocked out, my teammates don't attack. Like they're not attacking at all. They're sitting there, just letting the timer go by, and it's just, what the fuck are you doing right now? Let's see. Is there anything else I can touch on? I'll think of something one of these. I don't want to. I don't know. That's my first thoughts, bro. It's really it. Either way, pretty decent game. It's definitely worth the buy. There's a crazy twist at the end, right? I'm really curious to see what DLC might look like for this. Like, I went into this at first, like I started off like, yeah, it's shit, but they're just gonna remake it. But we didn't get remakes last gen. We got updates in DLC. Uh, Hopefully, DLC really buffs this one up. Maybe we get a cleanup patch. It feels like the best way to play this game. Unfortunately, it's on a fucking Steam Deck or like a high end gaming PC with a bunch of mods. If you really look at the gameplay of that, it looks beautiful and it looks like it's running great, but you probably can't play online. That would be great to have fixed. I don't know what's gonna happen. Pokemon Day is like in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever the fuck. So maybe we'll get a direct that'll tell us about that. But the game is definitely worth buying and trying. Right? There's some ugly ass Pokemon here. Speaking of Murkrow's on the screen, Murkrow is fucking the guy. Pause. Right now. But other than that, what can I say? Starters are weird. It's probably the weirdest set of starter final evolutions I've seen ever. Like this shit is weird looking as fuck. But they're really cool to use. They just look weird as hell to me. Specifically like the fire and the water one. The water one is just, what is the water one doing? Oh my god. The water one's sus as fuck. But it's cool too because like it's personality to it. I don't know. I don't know. And it's got a really cool signature move. I'm rocking with him. But it is really it, bro. You gotta play this hard. Like you just, from what I can say, you just gotta play it. Like after, it's worth playing. It's worth playing before you can really judge it. I feel like if I would have not tried it, I would have been walking around oblivious and just thinking like the game shit. It's not a piece of shit. This is probably the best Pokemon game I've played. It's just, where the fuck are the voices? I'm like, if I rank them, how do you rank this one? Like, this is such a really funny one. It's so much good and there's so much that bugs me. And there are a couple things that bug me. I'm not gonna say so much. Where do I put this over? Like, I guess what would be my favorite Pokemon game before this one? My favorite gen is 4. I keep it 100 with you. 4 was so special to me. I think 5 and the Weather War shit was turned just to play. And I think the way the story went was cool. Do you put this over 5 and 4? Like 6 was that first jump to 3D, but the story felt kind of like the wayside a little bit, and we didn't get remakes or a sequel set. I don't know how to rank this one. Like this one is really good, and it's like you want to call it the best. There's also the parts where I'm like, I don't know, but point is, great game. Battling is late as fuck. All right, go pick it up. Go try it out.